Welcome, Flyers fans. You're listening to Chris Mayer, Flyers Fan Mania 93 on YouTube.
All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today I am back with another video here. So obviously last night was the draft lottery, and I talked a lot about things that could happen at the draft, the Flyers drafts. Who do they draft? Do they keep the pick? Do they trade it? Whatever, that whole kind of thing. And obviously the number one thing going into next season is who will be the Flyers head coach. Now, I have made a tier list again, as you saw my player grades video. That's how I did that. I made this list again because I wanted to rank these coaches that I legitimately think could come to Philadelphia. I know there are other coaches, these 8, and in picture order it goes David Quinn, Paul Maurice, Rick Tocchet, Claude Julien, John Tortorella, Jim Montgomery, Barry Trotz, and Bruce Boudreau. Now, those are the 8 guys that I legit see coming here, and I'm going to rank them by that. Now, there are some other coaches. Obviously, you know, Travis Green could be another one. There's others. I know people have kind of, you know, Mike Babcock's been thrown around. I know Quenneville's been thrown around. I don't think he'd come here. Patrick Waugh is another name that's available. So obviously there's others. Dave Tippett as well. So look, there's other guys, and I think there are some legit coaches who could come here and really spark this team. But again, and starting in that A category, I think Barry Trotz is definitely number one on essentially not just the Flyers list, but everybody's list. Like, when the Islanders fired Trotz the other day, I was thinking to myself, 2 things. A, why did they fire him after one bad year? Because I saw a tweet and it said his first year, Jack Adams Trophy. The second 2 years after that, which was the bubble, and the following year, Islanders were, you know, a round away from getting the Stanley Cup final. And then this year, 13-game road trip, 50 games in the last 99 days, and then he got let go. Why? That's kind of my question. It's like, was it a problem with the players? Was this? Was it that? Because everybody knows what kind of went on with Alain Vigneault here. Do the Flyers kind of want to get into that again? Is my only thing. Now, again, I don't know the story, so I don't want to put that on Trotz either. But I definitely think he is obviously the number one candidate for the Flyers. Like, I gotta think he's up there. But the other thing you have to keep in mind, too, is so does every other team. Like, he just opened up a lot of doors for the entire NHL, for all the teams that don't have coaches. The Red Wings get rid of Jeff Blashill. The Jets are moving on, and obviously Trotz is from Winnipeg, so there's that as well. But for the Flyers side of things, Trotz could seriously help out with this team in many different ways. One, and it was a great point by Jeff Merrick on the 32 Thoughts podcast with Elliot Friedman. He said that he's already, the amount of games he's coached against this division, that's a great point. Like, he's coached against the Metro with 2 teams, Washington and the Islanders. Like, that would be huge. So that's another reason. And again, just the amount of games he's won. He's won a Stanley Cup. He gets a lot out of the team, and I think that would be huge. Bruce Boudreau, I got to think, is another in the A category, because it's like, look, everybody knows everything that's kind of going on with Vancouver. Are they keeping Boudreau? Are they not? My thing, and at least the way that I see it, is like, it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything over a year if he were to sign there again, just stay as coach. There's that whole thing with his contract. Now, Rutherford, I'm not too sure if they'll keep Boudreau. But again, I think he could be another great option because he gets offenses going. You saw how much, the fans really liked him. They rallied around that, the whole Bruce, there it is kind of thing. I think that would be great for Philadelphia because it seems like look, I'm going to be honest, like it's kind of tough for the Flyers right now to kind of get much hope in the fan base. And I think these 2 guys seriously could bring some hope into that. I don't know how much it would spark right away, but I think once the team started to play well, and then obviously the coaches and everything like that, like I think the Flyers need to hit on a head coach here, and these are 2 guys that definitely could be hits. Now, there are some other guys as well. Claude Julien is definitely a guy I could see in that B range that I could see coming here and I could see working out. I think he would be perfect, and he's very similar to the next guy I'm going to talk about. John Tortorella gets a lot out of the team. Obviously everybody knows how Tortorella is with the media. I don't think that would go over well here, but again, he is one of them guys that maybe. Now, obviously Rick Tocchet is another guy that's been talked about a lot. Tocchet could be a guy. He's kind of. I like Tocchet because I feel like he's not necessarily known for much in the coaching style. Obviously, was an assistant in Pittsburgh when they won. Head coach for the Yotes a little bit. I talked about Tocchet with Zach Ronaldo, and he said he understood how Ronaldo wanted to play. And I think if you get a guy that understands how, each player kind of works individually, and obviously everybody here likes Tocchet. He was just inducted into the Flyers alumni in November of 2021 in this season. So again, I think Tocchet could seriously be up there as well. I think he's a legit candidate to come here. If I'm being honest, now that I say it, I think I'm actually going to move Tocchet up to A because I think he's that much high of a candidate. I think Montgomery could slip into his spot as well because I really liked how Montgomery was with the Stars and just the way that they built their team. They were able to play good structured hockey. They were good defensively. They could score. Like they were a pretty solid team in those years when they were a game away from going to the conference finals against St. Louis. Paul Maurice is another guy. I could see it. And I think it's kind of the same thing with David Quinn. I really don't think David Quinn would be I think there's a lot of things that David Quinn is good at. Like, he can develop young players. He's good in that area. He is a player's type of coach. Like, I don't necessarily think Quinn, though, would honestly get this team to where they want to be. I don't think if you want to win now, and that's kind of what you've talked about, you're trying to find the mix of winning now and adding for later at the same kind of time. And if you still want to be able to be competitive, I don't think David Quinn would be your best bet. Paul Maurice, I think that's more of for the name, not as much the coaching. I think, Maurice came out publicly himself and said, I lost the room. Like, I don't know if you kind of want that here. Like, we kind of knew, like, it was kind of obvious with Alain Vigneault, everything that was kind of going on. So, look, I think there's a lot of different names here. I think there's many different possibilities. The Flyers have to hit on a head coach, though. You need a guy that's going to be good with the players, that's going to be able to handle a lot of pressure coming in the next season, because there's going to be a lot of pressure on this team, because this is like the last chance, essentially. Honestly, I think some people have already seen it as the last chance, but to them, they still think they have a shot. I don't necessarily know how much of a shot the Flyers have. Again, I've talked about this before. Like, they need a coach that's going to come in here, get them to be able to, compete with their division. That's one thing. I've talked about it many times. You're going from a team that had two guys with 50 points this year to guys that you're going to need 70, 80 point, maybe even 90 point players going into next year, and depending on what you do free agency, all that different stuff. So look, I think it's huge, and being able to compete with the division. I mean, I talked about it before. Like, the Metro is a 100-point division right now, and the East is probably the best division in hockey. So, the Metropolitan. So you're gonna have to be able to compete with that, and if you can get a working special teams and a good penalty kill like it was in 2019-20, because again, the penalty kill in 2019-20 when it was very good. When they took a penalty, it didn't seem like the other team was going to score. You need a coach that can help out there. You also, now obviously, I know a coach is going to bring in, assistants and different things there. So that's another thing you have to consider as well. You also need a working power play. You need a power play next year. I mean, the Flyers will go literally nowhere if they don't get this power play fixed. I think that some of these coaches can really help that. Obviously, Boudreau, Rick Tocchet was a power play coach in Pittsburgh. Like, that's another thing. Obviously, Trotz. So I think there's different areas of that as well. So again, let me know your guys' thoughts below. And if there are any other coaches that you think could come in here to the Flyers next season, thank you guys for watching. Remember to check out SeatGeek and the merchandise website. You can always check that out in the description below. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you all again soon.